Exile continues the N.J. Dawood translation of Al-Quran. And of course, I'm making some adjustments to all of these and comments my own. In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful, all that is in the heavens and the earth gives glory to Allah. He is the mighty, the wise one. It was he that drove the unbelievers among the people of the book out of their dwellings into the first exile. You did not think that they would go, and they, for their part, fancied that their strongholds would protect them from Allah, but Allah's scourge fell upon them, whence they did not expect it, casting such terror into their hearts, that their dwellings were destroyed by their own hands, as well as by the faithful. Learn from their example that you have eyes. You had Allah not decreed exile for them, he would have surely punished them in the world. But in the world to come, the fire shall be their scourge, because they have set themselves against Allah and his apostle, and that he sets himself against Allah should know that Allah is stern in retribution. Now, the first exile, this kind of references primarily expedition against Banu al-Nadir, and it wasn't because they were a Jewish tribe, by the way. Learn the example, you that have eyes. Yeah. Abar and Kondak were not ones where they just went after the Jews. And our same thing with the one where a woman was ruling over the group. It wasn't because a woman was ruling over the group. People like to play these games nowadays. Oh, you can't criticize somebody because of their gender or their color or something about their identity. It's like they're not being criticized about that, are they? No, and it was Allah who gave you leave to cut down or spare their palm trees, so that he might humiliate the evildoers. As for those whose spoils of theirs which Allah has assigned to his apostle, you spurred neither horse nor camel to capture them, but Allah gives his apostles authority over whom he will. Allah has power over all things. The spoils taken from the town dwellers and assigned by Allah to his apostle shall belong to Allah and to the apostle and his kinsfolk, to orphans and to the destitute and to the traveler in need. They shall not become the property of the rich among you. Whatever the apostle gives you, accept it, and whatever he forbids you, forbear from it. Have fear of Allah. Allah is stern in retribution. A share of the spoils shall also fall to the poor among the Muhajirin who have been driven from their homes and their possessions, who seek Allah's grace and bounty, and who help Allah and his apostle. These are the true believers. Now the Muhajirin, the immigrants. And of course, the migration to Yathrib and the migration to Yemen were the chief ones where most of the merit is had for migrating. But we have this special care in Islam to look at, the honor and dignity of refugees and to care for them if necessary. Now, refugees, people, traveling for mere business things or whatever, that's perhaps something that's not quite the same thing. But there is some sympathy to those that have been tricked, or otherwise just, their business, they didn't end up in the better position that they thought they would end up. But of course, you should legally migrate. You don't. The men who stayed in their own city and embraced the faith before them love those who have sought refuge with them. They do not covet what they are given, but rather prize them above themselves, though they are in want. Those that preserve themselves from their own greed shall surely prosper. Now, I mean, legally, as in, there should be a legal avenue for anybody who needs to be a refugee from something environmental or from war or persecution or whatever. I mean, real refugees that are forced by circumstances, there should be a legal avenue for them. Those that came after them say, "Forgive us, Lord, and forgive our brothers who embrace the faith before us. Do not put in our hearts any malice towards the faithful. Lord, you are compassionate and merciful. Have you not considered the hypocrites? They say to their fellow unbelievers among the people of the book, if they drive you out, we will go with you. We will never obey anyone who seeks to harm you. If you are attacked, we will certainly help you. The law bears witness that they are lying. If they are driven out, they will not go with them. Nor are if they are attacked, will they help them. Indeed, if they do go to their help, they will turn their backs in flight and leave them in the lurch. Their dread of you is more intense in their hearts than their fear of Allah. So devoid are they of understanding. They will never fight against you in a body except in fortified cities and from behind walls. Great is their valor among themselves. They think of them as one band, yet their hearts are divided. They are surely lacking in judgment, like those who were but recently punished before them. They tasted the fruit of their own deeds. A woeful scourge awaits them. The hypocrites may be compared to Satan, who, when he ordered man to disbelieve and man did his bidding, said to him, I hear and now disown you. I fear Allah, Lord of the universe. They shall both end in the fire and remain therein forever, and thus shall the wrongdoers be rewarded. Believers, have fear of Allah. Let every soul look to what it offers for the morrow. Fear Allah. Allah is cognizant of all your actions. Do not act like those who have forgotten Allah, so that He has caused them to forget themselves. Such men are evildoers. The heirs of the fire and the heirs of paradise shall not be held equal. The heirs of paradise alone shall be triumphant. Had we brought down this Koran upon a mountain, you would have seen it humble itself and break asunder for the fear of Allah. In such parables we speak to men so that they may give thought. Now there's more to things than the bare letters, right? But parable and fable aren't the same thing. Because we're not talking something that's invented or not literally true, because that's one of the great things about the Quran is everything's literally true, and there's other sides of meaning to it. And we have 3 verses here where we have 4 names of God, 8 names of God, and 5 names of God. He is the law, besides whom there is no other deity. He knows the unknown and the manifest. He is the compassionate, the merciful. Or a person could also say 2 names in that first verse. He is Allah, besides whom there is no other deity. He is the sovereign Lord, the Holy One, the giver of peace, the keeper of faith, the guardian, the mighty one, the all-powerful, the most high. Exalted be Allah above their idols. He is Allah, the creator, the originator, the modeler. His are the most gracious names. All that is in the heavens and the earth gives glory to him. He is the mighty, the wise one. Now, there are 17 required vows of prayer, starting with the evening prayer of 3 vows, and then 4 for the dusk prayer, the dawn prayer, to be said before the sunrise, 2, 4 for the early afternoon, and 4 for the late afternoon prayer. So if we were not saying knowing the unseen and the unknown, the manifest, and we just say Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, we end up with 17. And of course, Allah being, so name at itself. And also, so if we do include those 2 and we include Allah, then we end up with 20, which in some languages is the number value of the term for spiritual vision or spiritual visionary.